lecture on cerebellum, also called as little brain, and it behaves like a silent area. Why we call it silent area? Because there is a no conscious sensation or electrical stimulation. So it is an important part of the brain. It is extensively folded and fissured structure than the cerebral cortex. So it is extensively folded and fissured structure. Weight by weight, it is only 10% of the cerebral cortex, and by surface area, it is about 75% of that cerebral cortex. So this little brain, cerebellum, is well connected to the other part of the brain stem and spinal cord through the fibers. So in this slide, always remember the formula of 3. There are 3 anatomical parts, 3 parts of the cerebellum. Histologically, there are 3 nuclei, and by the 3 peduncle it is connected to the brain stem and other part of the brain. So there are 3 anatomical parts: anterior lobe, posterior lobe. They are separated by primary transverse fissure. Anterior lobe and the posterior lobe, and separated by a primary transverse fissure. Third part is flocculonodular lobe. Medial is the nodule, and laterally is the flocculus. So these 2 parts are separated by posterior lateral fissure. So 3 anatomical parts, and the 3 parts of the cerebellum, according to location. Central is the vermis, then there is a peripheral part which is divided into intermediate and the lateral zone. So center part is a vermis, it is a narrow band. Peripheral part again divided into 2, that is known as cerebellar hemisphere, and divided into intermediate and lateral zone. Now this is again by the 3 peduncles, it is connected to the brain stem, other part of the brain. So superior peduncle, this is superior peduncle, middle peduncle, and inferior peduncle. Now this is the other part of the brain. When we vertically cut, it shows it is placed dorsal to the brain stem, and inferior to the occipital cortex. So the superior peduncle, it is connected to through superior peduncle, it connects to the thalamus and the red nucleus. Middle peduncle receives afferent fibers from contralateral pontine nuclei. Inferior peduncle efferent to the vestibular nuclei, and it receives afferent fiber supply from the brain stem and spinal cord. So through the inferior, it is connected to the spinal cord and afferent from the brain stem. Middle, it is mainly for the corticopontine cerebellar fibers. Superior peduncle mainly connected through the cerebello-thalamic fibers, which is intervening the red nucleus. So superior peduncle for the higher center, you can say, middle for the brain stem, inferior for the spinal cord. Again, remember the formula of 3. There are 3 main afferent tracts which comes to the cerebellum or passes through the peduncle. One is through the superior peduncle, we will find ventral spinocerebellar tract. Through the middle peduncle, afferent from the opposite pontine nuclei. Inferior peduncle, dorsal spinocerebellar tract. So when we have learned about the ascending tracts, we have learned there are 2 types of the spinocerebellar tract. One is the dorsal and another is the ventral. Ventral, they passes through the superior peduncle, while the dorsal spinocerebellar tract, which is placed dorsally, and it is passes through the inferior peduncle. So what is the quality here, that the ventral spinocerebellar tract is the just a efference copy of the anterior horn motor, and it is a cross fibers, while through the middle peduncle afferent from the opposite pontine nuclei, they passes mainly to the later division of cortex, cerebellar cortex. Through the inferior peduncle, they are the uncrossed fibers, and they consist of olivocerebellar, vestibulocerebellar, and reticulocerebellar nuclei fibers. So there are three main afferent tracts. One is ventral spinocerebellar, then pontocerebellar, and spinocerebellar. These fibers terminate into both sides of the cerebellum, afferent mainly the later division of the cerebellar hemisphere, and dorsospinocerebellar in the vermis and intermediate zone of the same site. There are three deep cerebellar nuclei we must remember: dentate nuclei, interposed nuclei, and vestigial nuclei. Dentate nuclei, they are laterally placed on either side. Interposed nuclei, they are made up of two nuclei, globose and amyliform. Third is the vestigial nuclei. Next slide. After the afferent connections, we must learn about the efferent output signals from the cerebellum, how it comes out, fibers or impulsive sensations, how it delivered to the other part of the brain. So the three main deep cerebellar nuclei, which I had told you previously, that is dentate, interposed, vestigial. They are connected. They receive the afferent and they send the efferent fibers to the other part. So the cerebellar cortex well connected by the other parts, cerebral cortex and brainstem and peripheral part. So they are the very good communication. You can have communication between the afferent and the efferent nerve also. So the afferent pathway from other parts of the brain is the corticopontinocerebellar pathway. As the name indicates, originate from cortex, means cerebral motor cortex, premotor cortex area, and cerebral somatosensory cortex. So these responsible for corticopontino. So from these areas, fibers they goes to the pontine nuclei. Again they form the tracts and they form the cerebellar pathway. Now this cerebellar pathway, they passes through the middle peduncle. They passes through the middle peduncle and they relay into the later zone of the hemisphere. So right cerebellum will receive the pontine fibers of the opposite side, means left pontine, and the left cerebellar region received fibers from the right. Now this is the enlarged diagram: dentate nucleus, vestigial nucleus. Well connected this dentate nucleus to the red nucleus, and the vestigial nucleus receives through the inferior peduncle. It receives from the fibers vestigioreticular tracts, vestibulotract, and that's dorsal spinocerebellar threads. So there are three main motor functions of the cerebellum. Now, to remember these functions, we have to remember the word vestibulocerebellum, connection between the vestibulum and the cerebellum. It regulates the body equilibrium movement. So, the body equilibrium movement is maintained by vestibulocerebellum connections. Spinocerebellum coordinate the movement of the distal portion of the body, hand and fingers as well as the proximal part of the body. Cerebellum is connection, work in feedback manner, and it plans the movement, sequential voluntary movement, 1/10 of the second in advance of the actual movement. So this is very important property of motor function of the cerebellum. Means command start from the cerebrum, but it is regulated in timing by the cerebellum, and the cerebellum give the feedback manner and inhibit the cerebrum in advance, 1/10 of a second in advance of the actual movement. So calculate in advance in the speed and the direction and anticipatory correction of the postural motor. Granular cells, they sends axon outward up to the molecular layer, and here it divides into parallel fibers which extend for 1 to 2 millimeter on either side. Now these fibers, they are connected, or they form the clusters with the dendrites or the Purkinje cells. So the Purkinje cells के dendrites से ये communicate हो जाता है. So there is a one synapse which formed here. Parallel fibers of the granular cells. Granular cells are under influence of the deep nuclear cells, and these parallel fibers, they communicate with the dendrites of the Purkinje cells. So excitation goes to the Purkinje cells, but its nature, so excitatory impulses coming by this way, but this is inhibitory nature. They send inhibition to the deep nuclei, and the combination of this adjustment of the excitatory from the peripheral side, or you can say, and by the Purkinje cells inhibition, this balance, by the balance of these two stimuli, the output of or product of these two, positive and negative, or you can say excitatory and inhibitory, they descend down and they form the output. So the point we must remember, the climbing fibers and the Mosey fibers, which enter into in the form of afferents into the cerebellum. Climbing fibers is the fibers which originate only from inferior olives of the medulla. And each climbing fibers, they form 300 synapses with a soma and dendrite of each Purkinje cell. Now, why there are two types? This is for rapid movements. This is for rapid movement. This type of the climbing fiber is for rapid movements. So single impulse in it will always cause a single prolonged up to 1 second peculiar type of the action potential in each Purkinje cell. And what it is? First there is a strong spike followed by trail of weakening secondary spikes. So first is the strong and then weak. This is called complex spike. This is called complex spike, and this is due to the class. So the another spike which is formed by the Mosey fibers is called simple spike. It is much weaker, short duration. is of not up to the 1 second. It's a shorter duration, and it's a action potential which is generated by mossy fibers is a simple spike. So the granule cells which are present in the deeper layer means granular layer, third layer. Axons of these cells is less than 1 micrometer in diameter and they reaches up to the molecular layer and outer surface of the cerebral cortex. They bifurcate into the parallel fibers. So there is a continuous firing, you must now understand, continuous firing of the both Purkinje and the deep nuclear cells. So Purkinje cell fires about 50 to 100 action potential per second, while the deep nuclear cell fires more than that, that is more than 50 to 100 action potential per second. So the output activity of both these cells can be modulated by the upward connection and by the downward connections. So till now we have learned three cells, formula of the three, remember: Purkinje cells, granular cells, deep nuclei cells. But there are other inhibitory cells in the cerebrum, basket cell, stellate cells. They form axons at right angle to the parallel fibers. Right angle to the parallel fibers, and they cause lateral inhibition of the adjacent Purkinje cells. Now, whenever there is a lateral inhibition of the adjacent Purkinje cells, this is responsible for sharpening of the cell. So, it is very important point we remembered that play a very important role in motor action. This one, first thing. Second, first motor signal which is originated. Now, just like a flow chart, you must remember the initiated motor signals. From where it is initiated motor signals? They are initiated from cerebral cortex. So the initiated motor signals from the cerebral cortex, it first greatly increases or goes to the deep nuclear cell excitation in the cerebellum. And another few milliseconds later, feedback inhibitory signals from the Purkinje cell circuit arise. So first there is the excitatory through the deep nuclear, then second, after few milliseconds, there is a Purkinje cell inhibition. Now this is called damping action on the movement, and it prevents overshooting its mark. First there is a rapid movement, then there is excitation by the cerebromotor cortex through the deep nuclear cell, then through the Purkinje cell. After few milliseconds, there is inhibitory signals to the cerebral cortex. So you will say it is prevent the damping action on the movement. It acts as a damping action and it prevent overshooting its mark. So pathological oscillation of the movement will not occur, mind it. Oscillation means uncontrolled movement by the uncontrolled movement, not inhibited or not regulated by cerebellum. So there is a turn on and turn off signals at the onset of the movement. It is very important point. Cerebellum rapid turn on signals for the agonist muscles. Agonist means जो कि working muscle है. So working muscle, there is a rapid turn on and reciprocal turn off signal for the antagonistic muscle at the onset of the movement. When you do or pick a pen from the desk, your hand is picking the pen This is the action. And you are raising the, lifting the pen. Okay, you are approaching. First is the approaching and then lifting. There are two movements. And of course there is a rapid movement. So first is a rapid movement, then picking, and then lifting. So there are three movements, three action. All are governed by the cerebellum. So rapid turn on, flexor muscles, digitalis, flexor digitalis is action, or this is agonist. This is agonist. Antagonist would be the extensors. So turn on to the flexors and turn off to the antagonist. Towards the end, you will find the reversal of that. So there is a turn on signus. And this process is, I have told you, is due to the Purkinje cell and due to the deep nuclear cells. But there is one more action. The Purkinje cell learned to correct the motor errors, and this is due to the proper myelination. And this is done by the inferior olivary nucleus, because this originates the climbing fibers. So the climbing fibers only originate from inferior olivary nucleus, and this is responsible for learn to correct the motor errors. So as the child grows, inferior olivary nucleus function is more, but not very active. This nuclei is not very active at the end of the growth. So the cerebellum coordinate motor control functions at three levels. At the level of vestibule, vestibulocerebellum; at the level of spine, spinocerebellum; at the level of cerebrum, cerebrocerebellum. Now this is consist of flocculonodular, and spinocerebellum consists of vermis, cerebellum consists of lateral zone of the cerebral hemisphere and intermediate zone. So vestibulocerebellum responsible for body equilibrium movement and postural movement. Spinocerebellum consists coordinate movement of the proximal as well as the distal portions. Cerebrocerebellum plan, sequential, voluntary body and limb movements. So these movements are planned. Cerebrocerebellum, this is planned. Planning is done where? In the cerebellum. Planning is done in the frontal lobe, no doubt, but voluntary sequential planning is done by the cerebellum. And this is done 1/10 of a second ahead, means in advance of the actual movement to be done by the cerebrum. This process is called motor imaginary of movement to be performed. Next slide. So the lesion of the vestibulocerebellum, the vestibulocerebellum is a phylogenetically is the old one, developed old. So the extreme disturbances of there is a lesion, there is a extreme disturbances of equilibrium and posture. Spinocerebellum, feedback control of the distal limb movement.